Well, hello there and welcome back to the next part of this My Team F1 2020 career mode. Pretty much left off, pretty much picking up from where we left off last time. The invitational event, I decided to skip actually what it looks like, that you use some of the classic cars around some of the circuits, and if you achieve the objective you gain a bit of acclaim. So I've skipped it for now, so I just want to focus on this. We've got a lot to do between here and the Dutch Grand Prix, certainly when it comes to upgrades on the car. We've got some activities that we can probably fit in as well. We've got some G-Force training for Luca Giotto. His rating has gone up to 62, by the way, as his acclaim has gone up as well. We can also attend an F1 esports event, chassis team building, visit sponsor headquarters, and a funded team event. Home, I'm not sure what home means, probably back at the headquarters. It will cost us a little bit of money. But we might as well do some G-Force training for Luca Giotto. And then I think we'll come down to here and we'll attend the F1 esports event. And there's the press interview that we got. And then just before the Grand Prix weekend, can we do that again? We can't. We can visit the sponsor headquarters as well. So yeah, that's all good. That'll bring us some acclaim for the team. The attend the esports event will be for me personally, and the G-Force training will be for Giotto. So there's a lot going on here, as you can see. So we'll advance time now and see where we stand once we get to the press interview. Okay, so we've gained quite a bit of money and a few resource points as well. We're up to 4 million now, $4 million, so we can probably spend, I think, maybe looking at one of the facilities before the Dutch Grand Prix. We've got a press interview at the team headquarters. We have a press interview scheduled with Will Buxton. He's waiting for you in the press area, so I think we'll advance to that and give some hopefully some decent answers. So a few interesting questions there from Will Buxton. To be honest, I want to keep Giotto sweet for now. I don't want to start slagging him or saying that we're going to look for a better driver. We probably will look for a better driver before the end of the season, unless we spend quite a bit of time improving Giotto. You never know, maybe I'll do that to see how well he gets, because he is slowly improving. But apart from the Vietnam Grand Prix, we've had the beating of him in all practice qualifying race sessions at both Australia and Bahrain. So clearly I'm the better driver at the moment, but we'll certainly try our best to improve Giotto. Any more activities that we can do before the race? Doesn't look like it, because we've already blocked that one. We've already locked that one in. But I did see some upgrades. We'll have a look here at the R&D tree. So the chassis one came in, as you can see here, the rear floor under tray distribution. This one didn't, so we can develop it again at half price because it failed the first time. And if we do that, it will be between the Dutch and the Spanish Grand Prix. So a 0% failure chance. We'll definitely have to design that part, I should say, to be passed. We're still waiting for the single aerodynamic upgrade to come in, powertrain, and the durability one as well. They should hopefully all be on the car, or at least we'll know where we're doing exactly in one day. We'll exactly find out what's going on. So we'll advance time again before the Dutch Grand Prix. So not good there, unfortunately. A few things have failed. So we've got the tyre selection now for the Dutch Grand Prix. Mediums and soft is what we'll do. Gearbox, we'll have a new one for the practice session. We've got to use the event gearbox, of course. As for the power units, yeah, I think we'll stick with the old ones. And then probably before FP3, we'll change to some new units, because these are now starting to struggle a little bit. As for R&D, we saw that one part did get accepted onto the car. It was the aerodynamic upgrade. So that's now come in, the front wing main flat. But unfortunately, the powertrain one failed to come in. So we might as well develop that straight away. It's going to be 11th of May. So we might as well get that redone and get on the car. And durability upgrade as well for the MGUH, that failed. So 287 is going to cost. That will be again on the 11th of May between Spain and Monaco. So we've had 2 upgrades, I think. No, 3 upgrades. Yeah, it's definitely 2 upgrades on the car. We've got the third one here coming in at some point soon. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it'll be after the Dutch Grand Prix. So we've had an aerodynamic and a chassis upgrade. So if we look at the R&D and progress, we've got those three back in. Progress history as well between Vietnam and the Dutch Grand Prix will be shown once we go to the workstation, if you like, at Zandvoort. Nothing else really to do, so you might as well go straight to the race weekend at the circuit Zandvoort in Holland. So we're at the workstation here in Holland. We go look at the weather here. Qualifying's going to be wet. That's going to be interesting. But the race is going to be nice and sunny, as is FP3 as well. So race strategy, I think we'll be putting together in FP3. Qualifying is going to be a bit of a mixed bag, considering that it's going to be wet. But the FP1 and FP2 is dry. A bit overcast, but it's dry at least. The weekend preview there and the weather forecast as well. And qualifying looks like it's going to dry up as it gets later into the session, so that would be quite interesting. You see that at the top we've got 98 resource points, so we spent pretty much everything that we've gained in the last 3 weeks to try and get some upgrades on the car. As for the rivalry with George Russell, we're losing that 6-1, so hopefully we can claw that back in the next weekend or two. As for the R&D, obviously we've had some upgrades. We're still waiting for the chassis one, the durability and the powertrain one to come in. But we did have one completed from the chassis and the aerodynamic department. So obviously we've got a few things in progress. As for progress history, well, Williams have had upgrades as well. So they crept up a little bit closer to us. And it also looks like AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo have had big upgrades. A smaller one for Haas as well. So it's quite good that we've done some upgrades. But Williams are starting to creep in a bit closer. Not much from Mercedes, but Red Bull and Ferrari have had little upgrades as well. Racing Point have had a bigger upgrade. They're now the 4th best team. So yeah, quite busy between Vietnam and Holland for a majority of the teams. We'll use FP1. I'm literally going to use as a test session to get used to the circuit, so I'm quite happy to use the older units. I might switch to units number 2 for pretty much all of these really, for FP2 onwards. Gearbox, we'll have a new practice gearbox coming in excuse me, for the beginning of FP1. So yeah, pretty good. So I'm going to go away now and focus on FP1 off camera, just to get used to the circuit. Usually I do a few laps at the beginning of FP1 for you guys at circuits I've been to before, and then obviously FP2 and FP3 I do off camera. So I'm going to do off camera for FP1, and I'll give you an update at the end of the session about the setup I've got, how we're doing out there and how I'm feeling with the circuit. So hopefully it goes better than it did in Hanoi. I'm certainly looking forward to the circuit, and certainly its last corner, its banked last corner as well. That should be quite a lot of fun. So I'll give you an update at the end of FP1. So certainly a trial by fire at Zandvoort, a circuit I've never really actually driven on, to be honest with you. Certainly with cars like the Formula 1 cars. We're struggling a little bit, but I think we will get better and better. I'm a bit more confident here than I was at Hanoi, but the first session didn't particularly go very well. We did quite a lot of laps. I think we did 13 laps in total. So Bottas was fastest at 1:12.3, very fast lap here. As you can imagine, it's very, very short. And if we scroll right down to the bottom, we were in 21st place in the medium tyres. Giotto was 7 tenths quicker than us on the hard tyres. George Russell was the closest to us, and he was 1.4 seconds quicker also on the medium tyres. So I've got to go away and really work out what's going on here, if I can try to find some more speed with the setup. So we were faster than Latifi, but he was in the hard tyres, so I'm not really going to pay attention to that. The main target really is George Russell. If we can get to within about 3 or 4 tenths of him, I think I'll be quite happy. So yeah, FP1, it's okay. We didn't make too many mistakes. There's a couple of corners I'm struggling on a little bit, so I've got to sort of adapt and tackle them corners a little bit better than what I'm doing. But we'll move forward into FP2. Well, again, I'll do it off camera, and I'll try and get a couple of practice programs done if I can, but it's going to be very, very difficult, and try to work with the setup a little bit, try to get a bit more speed out of this Minardi. So FP2 ends, Hamilton being the fastest at 1:11.775 on the medium tyres, nearly 6 tenths quicker than local hero Max Verstappen. This is his home race, and he ends the session in P2. Leclerc in 3rd, Norris and Albon 4th and 5th. Scroll down to the bottom, 20th place we finished, 1,000th of a second slower than Luca Giotto, ahead of Gasly and Latifi, but they were on the medium tyres. Russell was 7 tenths, nearly 8 tenths quicker than us. Also on the soft tyres, as you can see there, we were a second down on him after FP1, brought her down to 8 tenths behind him for FP2. So I'm slowly getting used to this circuit, but there are some areas that I definitely do need to improve. As for practice programs, we managed to do the tyre management program in purple, but we failed the fuel management program, mainly because I was too slow to match the delta. We was in the purple for all 3 laps, and but unfortunately we didn't set a good enough lap time. So we are struggling here a little bit, not so much as we were in Hanoi, but definitely being a new circuit, I need to go away and fiddle about with a few things and try to get things more settled and comfortable for me if we're going to make any sort of an impact on this weekend. But that's 2 of the 3 practice programs, 2 of the 3 practice sessions done with, and I'll be back with you guys for FP3. So here we are in the garage for FP3. A couple of minutes have already passed, just a 30-minute session, of course. Charles Leclerc already out on circuit. We've got 2 sets of soft tyres left. We've done a tyre management, as I said. Fuel management I failed. I might give the track acclimatisation one a go. So car setup then. So yeah, we'll run with that. That's fine. Aero, I'm running 6.9. Transmission 50-58. Suspension geometry 3 clicks to the right for the camber, 3 to the left for toe. Suspension 247-7-3-4. I'm going to bump that up a little bit more if I can. Brakes 154. Tyres pressures are down a little bit. But I think I'm going to bump them up just a little bit more if I can. Try and get a bit more grip. And yeah, so we'll go out on circuit. So this will be the first time that you'll be seeing the circuit. It almost feels like... it's weird to say, but back on, I think, F1 2012, 13, 14, something like that, quite a few years ago now, we got some like bonus tracks added. Jerez was one of them. And another one was... Brands Hatch, the GP circuit, which you could do under a minute if you had a clean lap. And this circuit feels a bit like that, very narrow, fast flowing corners, and you almost feel that some of these corners you can take a lot quicker than it looks. This is of course a circuit that was last on Canada back in the 80s, I believe. And it hasn't had much updated change since then. I mean, this corner here, you look at this, you could actually just, look, I'm up to 7th gear here, you know, and it's just, it just does feel like a circuit that probably isn't really designed for the modern F1 car. But it's certainly something a little bit different. We've got 2 DRS zones, the back straight, which isn't really a straight, and then along the main straight. We've got 2 probably decent heavy braking zones, turn 1, which tightens, and then that one's just there. And already we're up to the final 2 corners. And just like that, that is a lap of Zandvoort. This is the banked corner. Not as steep as it was at Indianapolis. For those of you that used to race there in old F1 games, I certainly did. So this will be our first lap then in FP3. So just under 14 minutes left of the session. We've had the car back in the garage, we fixed the front wing, and there we are, 18th out of the 19 drivers that have set lap times at the moment. We're just off the pace of Russell. Latifi's found a lap from somewhere and has gone 6 tenths quicker, and we're half a second ahead of Giotto. So I'm going to put on a new set of soft tyres. I'm not going to change the setup, but we are going to give a track acclimatisation program a go. I feel pretty confident of getting green at least. Purple might be a bit of a stretch depending on where they put the gates on the circuit, because some of my lines and some of the corners are a bit different from what the AI is doing. So we'll have to see how the laps go, but we've got 3 laps at this anyway, so it's not like it's a one-shot thing. So out of the garage we've got a McLaren and a Renault, which we will let through. There's definitely one corner there that I'm taking a different line through. I think there'll be enough for green at least. It is. Making mistakes already. So just under 4 minutes left of the session. We got purple in the track acclimatisation on the third and final lap, which was very nice. Also found a bit more speed, getting used to the circuit, and improved our lap time up to P19, so ahead of Ricardo, believe it or not. Renault really not going well here, 16th and 20th for them so far. We're ahead of Russell as well, and Giotto, and we're just a few hundredths off of both Latifi and Grosjean, and just I think about 2.5 tenths away from Ocon and Perez, and Gasly as well in that as well. So we are finding more pace. I'm getting more and more comfortable with the circuit. I've got a nice rhythm now around here. I know the braking points, I know what gears I can take. And some of the corners I was a little bit slapdash at, if you like. I've managed to sort of sort out as well. So it's good pace, 14.1. I'll happily take that. Nearly 3 seconds off of the quickest guys. But it's just under 3 minutes left of the session. So we won't go out again. We've done 7 laps. That's fine. You've got to remember as well that we are on the old power unit. So I was going to change these for FP3. So obviously our pace is going to be down a little bit compared to everyone else. The gearbox itself is also quite worn. So we probably could be a bit quicker if we had some brand new power units, but that's exactly what we'll take going into the qualifying session. So 2.5 minutes left. We'll just sit here, allow the time to run down, and see if we remain in P19. So there we go then, the conclusion of FP3. Bottas was fastest, 11.29 for, I would say, to be honest, qualifying times being the 1 minute 10s, but we know that it's going to be rain. But we think there might be some dry running towards the end of the session. Excuse me for burping. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Hamilton then, just 3 tenths off. Leclerc and Vettel nearly 6 and nearly 7 tenths off. We scrolled all the way down to the bottom because we don't care about the runners at the top, and we did remain in P19. The fact that Renault are really a bit here, I'm not too sure what is going on with them, but 16th and 20th for them. You can see everyone was on the soft tyres. We were legitimately faster than Russell, a lot faster than Giotto, and we're very close to Latifi and Grosjean. I'm not too sure how Latifi managed to do that lap. He must have had a nice tow from a quicker car at some point on the circuit, because to be honest, he's usually the one that is in last place. But in dry running anyway, on the soft tyres, we're quite good, and I think the little tweaks I've done to the setup there at the beginning of FP3 have certainly helped. So good running here at Zandvoort. This circuit, I'm starting to like it more and more. It's not a fan favourite yet. It's never going to be like the Bahrain and the Austrias for me and anything like that. But certainly this new circuit is starting to grow on me. So the resource points, 360 from me, 150 from Giotto, puts us all up to 608. And the team acclaim 6% from me, 12% from Giotto, 18% combined. So you can see that it's slowly starting to slow down now as we move higher and higher up the levels. But we're halfway to level 7. And I think after the race, at least, we should be level 4. Giotto might be getting close to level 7. We'll have to wait and see. So then, back at the workstation before the short 18-minute qualifying session. One message from Jeff about the Zandvoort circuit. So the one thing we definitely do need to do is come over here and change onto units number 2 for everything. So that's exactly what we do. So to do this, you literally go from number 1 to number 2. Apply component. There is no penalty for this action, and you do that for every single unit. You can see there the turbocharger was certainly not in this last leg, so at 66% is a bit of a worry. And finally the electronics. So everything is now will be at 0%. It's just pending. Basically that will be applied to your car as soon as you leave the garage in the next session. So everything, when you go out for our first run in qualifying, it will all be 0%. The gearbox, however, will be at 39. It's probably going to be quite close, if not bang on 50% by the time we've done this weekend, and it'll be the fourth of 6, because obviously we retired early on in Hanoi, so that has saved a bit of wear. And the weekend tyrecation, of course, taking into qualifying a load of soft tyres. But we know it's going to be wet. How long it's going to be wet, I don't know. We'll have to see what the weather forecast is like for the duration of the qualifying session. I think it might be dry towards the end, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see once we get to the garage. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So here we are then in the garage for qualifying. It looks like that it might dry up, I think, possibly before the end. We'll have to wait and see what 15 minutes is going to look like. And then down to 20 minutes. Oh, it could be dry for 20 minutes. Right, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to go out, and I'm going to reevaluate the situation at the very end of qualifying. So there we go then, just under 3 minutes left of the session. Jeff reckons the track is going to dry out soon. I am going, it is slowly starting to increase. So we're going to fit the soft tyres. This is a bit of a gamble, I'm not going to lie. And we're going to sit in there and go out with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left of the session. You can see there that the track is slowly starting to go out. I don't know if anyone's out there on some on the intermediates. I don't know, there might be some going out on the dries. I really don't know. We're going to give it a go. So there we go then, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left of the session. And we're going to ignore and go to track.
Everyone ready?
I think it might be about, I don't know, I don't think it's going to be perfectly ready for dries. Just looking at some of the cars going past at the moment. There are some going out on dries. There's a Renault on dries, there's an AlphaTauri on dries. I think those that have left it late to go out on a circuit might have pulled a bit of a blinder here. It is still a bit damp. Ooh. So I think this is going to be a little bit crucial here to try and get round. DRS is now being enabled, so that's a good sign. This could be a very upside down grid here. We've managed to get round. What are we going to be able to do? P15. I'll take it. I'll take it. P15. And we do have a little bit of an upside down grid. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Not all of those on the soft tyres were able to beat those on the intermediates, but Alexander Albon takes pole position. Carlos Sainz joins him on the second row. Giovinazzi is third. Perez and Stroll fourth and fifth. Kvyat is sixth, and Verstappen the first on the intermediate, 6 seconds slower than Albon. Also in the same team, of course, in Red Bull in seventh, and it's Raikkonen, Gasly, Leclerc, Hamilton in 11th, Vettel, Bottas 12th and 13th. Ocon were in 15th, so we've out-qualified Norris, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Grosjean, Russell, Giotto and Latifi. I could have pushed probably a little bit more, maybe gained an extra second, and I could have been well inside the top 10. So yeah, it would have been nice to maybe go a little bit quicker. I don't know, the conditions were a bit but no, we'll take P15. We're the slowest of the soft runners, but it's I mean, in the midfield and at the front, it's a bit upside down. I mean, towards the back, you've got the Haas, Williams and the Minardi. That's sort to be expected. But you've got the Mercedes and Ferraris in 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. Albon's on pole. We've got an Alfa Romeo in third, an AlphaTauri in sixth. In fact, both Alfa Romeos and AlphaTauris are inside the top 9. So that's going to be quite interesting going into the race. But P15, our best qualifying of the season so far. So the rivalry breakdown, we both completed qualifying and I out-qualified George Russell, so I've crept a little bit back, 3 to 7 now. 5 races remain, including this one. My claim has gone up by 6%. Level 4 now, we've got 8% in total, 12% for Giotto, 20% combined for the team due to the qualifying efforts, I think, for me more than anything else. So that's good. Hopefully we'll be level 7 for the team after this race. So back in the workstation, got a lot to look forward to in this race. 36 laps, I think that will pass pretty quickly around here, to be honest. Similar to Austria, I think, which I think is like 38 or 39 laps, something like that, and a very short circuit as well. But Austria is pretty easy with a lot of long straight. Zandvoort, you're always very busy, so the laps I think will just go very, very quickly. There's so much to do. There was one email, wasn't there, from Jeff about the pre-race. I hope you slept well last night. Yep, I'm fine. Just make sure that everything is on the car, all the new units, they are indeed. Gearbox is now sitting at still 39%, so that's okay. So yeah, nothing else to look at. We might as well advance to the race, and let's hope for a good one around the circuit that I'm starting to feel more and more comfortable with.
It was 35 years ago that the late great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix win here at Zandvoort. He came from 10th on the grid to beat his McLaren teammate Alain Prost by just 0.2 of a second. Well, Zandvoort is a very different circuit today, of course, but still one with an incredible legacy. And we're going to add to that. Welcome along to the 2020 Dutch Grand Prix. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of a 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. And thanks for joining us, Ant. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Alexander Albon put in a great lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And talented Spaniard Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Giovinazzi, Perez, Daniel Kvyat and Verstappen, Raikkonen, Gasly, Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Esteban Ocon, Lee, Stroll. They've taken a grid penalty. Norris, Daniel Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen. Russell, Giotto, Latifi and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So a couple of grid penalties out there promotes us into P14, so our qualifying has been even better with that as well. So the race strategy then, softs on to hard. I'm not too sure if that's going to work or not. We'll stick with the soft tyres. As for fuel, I think there's only really 2 areas really where we can push the overtake button. We can push it around quite a few of the places, but there's not really that many straights. The main straight and of course the other sort of weird curving back straight with the other DRS zone, certainly 2 areas where we can push. But I think I'm going to start with just 2 laps worth of extra fuel. I'm thinking about possibly, we'll edit this strategy, do softs, add a stint, do softs and mediums, 10, 11, 15. It's 8 seconds slower, 7.5 seconds slower actually. I don't know, we'll stick with the first one, see how we go. If the tyres are starting to die a little bit by about lap 8 or 9, then we can revert to the 2-stop strategy, which might put us back a bit, but we'll give it a go anyway. You can see the weather at the top there, it's nice and sunny, and then it's going to be a bit more and more overcast. So I think it's a bit of an opposite to what it was at the beginning of the weekend. But no, I'm fine. That's the selected one that we'll do. We definitely do have 2 sets of soft tyres and a set of mediums, because obviously we only used 1 set in qualifying. So we'll start the formation lap. You know, we've got Bottas and Vettel just in front of us. We've got Stroll and Norris behind. I'm not really in an area where I'd consider myself to be a regular.
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on a full start. We don't want to bog down.
And here we are at Zandvoort then. The crowds are full. A lot of Dutch fans in there, as you'd imagine, cheering on Verstappen, who starts somewhere ahead of us. There's a couple of corners around here that still give me a bit of trouble to get the line perfectly right. This is certainly one of them. And I'm hoping for a better showing here at a debut track than what we had in Hanoi.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
That's good. I'd like a dry race. Thank you very much. So we've got some quick guys behind. Looks like some people, in fact, Ocon and Bottas are on the mediums in front of us. So maybe they're going for a slightly different strategy, because the optimal strategy was obviously softs onto hards. But if some of them are going for mediums, then obviously they know that can't work. So I think this is going to be a race with a lot of question marks in it. Don't really know what to expect from people in their strategies that they're running, but we'll just stick to our own and see how the race develops. And then the formation lap is completed as we ghost through Ocon and we make our way back to the grid. The rest of the field begins to line up. We've got a Mercedes and a Ferrari on the row ahead of us. We share our row with a Renault. And we've got a Racing Point in a McLaren behind. So yeah, we're in unfamiliar territory here in P14. So the lights at Zandvoort, come on. Let's get a good start on these soft tyres. Oh, them lights went out quickly. We've gained the position up to P13 ahead of Ocon.
Well done, mate. Nice start.
And in a blink of an eye, lap 1 is completed. P13, comfortably in P13 as well. Just like that, lap 2 is completed. Let's try and settle down into a rhythm.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So coming into lap 6, laps go quick and fast here, causing a little bit of a traffic jam. Which is to be expected really. I am in essentially a backmarker team. But I'm having fun in P13. We're not really fighting these guys, to be honest. I'm just doing this for pride. Oh! Stroll there tries to get a bit cheeky with us. He's going to make the way past us. It's coming around now to complete lap 8 or 36. These laps really do go past quickly. Starting to struggle a little bit on the soft tyres. But I think if we can keep going for another 3-4 laps, we might be able to do softs onto hards. And we've got some quick guys behind us. We're still running in P14 though, so a lot higher than what is expected of us.
Safety car. No overtaking. Reduce
Oh
your pace.
wow! I'm in. Come on! Shut up, Jeff! Shut up, Jeff!
Is available on the MFD.
Shut up, Jeff! Yes! Now! No! Wait! No!
Repeat
Hard
that.
tyres.
Interference.
Oh, please give me the hard tyres. Please give me the hard tyres. The safety car is out. This is going to help us so much.
Luca in the pits.
They are putting on the hard tyres. This is so good for us.
Go. You'll
Out
be
we come
racing
now.
the
Oh
exit.
my god. I think we might be the first car out back on circuit. Oh, I've got to slow my Delta down.
Your Delta is
So this race just absolutely exploded.
The safety car is waiting for the leader. You may overtake it. Overtake the safety car.
Okay, copy all that. I've turned it down to lean. EOS on level 1, obviously. To be honest, I think this might just help the leaders just a little bit. But Ricciardo retired from the race, which I really wasn't going to talk about because he was at the back anyway. He picked up damage, I think, at some point. There he is on the side of the road. Oh, we nearly ran off the circuit there. Oh, most of the front runners have carried on. Look, you can look there on the track map. There's only a couple of cars in the pits. So, oh, I don't know. This all of a sudden has got a little bit interesting. Right, now we can push a little bit, catch back up to the safety car. I don't know, my brain's a bit fried at the moment, to be completely honest with you. We're saving ERS, we're saving fuel, that's fine. We're on the hard tyres, we don't need to stop again, that's fine. We can get these tyres to the end, that's fine. So it really does depend on what the guys ahead of us are going to do. They're all staying out, they're all staying out. I'm absolutely sure that they're not all being in the pits already. There we are then, the safety car train is ahead of us. Lap 14 or 36 here, behind the safety car now. I am pretty sure that Verstappen and Kvyat pitted, but everyone else at front didn't. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I've paused it and looked at the race director to see what everyone is doing, and to be honest, in real life you'd be told what everyone else is doing tyre wise anyway, so I'm not really cheating as much. I'm just finding out the information that would have been told to me anyway if this was real life. Right, we are in P14. Safety car is in.
Remember, there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Yeah, that's fine, Jeff. So, right, the situation is Ricciardo's retired, brought out a safety car. Half the cars ahead of us, if we can get up to speed, please, have pitted for the hard tyres. The other half haven't. Half the cars behind us have pitted for the hard tyres. The other half have pitted for soft tyres, which means they've got to stop again. So half the field ahead of us have got to stop. Half the field behind has got to stop. We can go to the end. And here we go. It's green flag racing. Lap 15 of 36. We are in a brilliant position here to score some points if we can keep it clean and keep it steady. Check for damage. No damage yet. Ocon is getting a fucking hurry up here. Got a bit out of shape there. And I've been nudged from behind as well. As restarts go, this is a scrappy one. It's okay. Most of the field, I think probably about, I'd say 12 drivers need to stop again. We don't. We can carry these hard tyres to the end. Exactly what I'm going to try and do. Into lap 17 now, almost half distance. Bottas is in the pits, P8 now. You can hear the excitement in my voice. But these hard tyres are pretty crud. Okay, lap 22 of 36 now. Magnussen and Russell are close behind me. Both on the soft tyres, so they're going to have to stop again. There's Ocon ahead of me as well, but several seconds up the road. He's got to stop again. He's on the soft tyres as well. So I'm really not going to know how this race is going to develop until the last probably handful of laps really. I've got a bit of a train behind me. We're doing everything we can. We have a legitimate chance of some points here. So coming through the banked oval to complete lap 24. I've got a Ferrari and a Mercedes behind me. Never thought I'd say that.
Leading our teammate by 18.2 seconds.
Leclerc goes through. I think Ocon has pitted because it only drops us back to P8. Oh, being nudged. Bottas, really, mate? Into lap 26, I think Bottas is going to have us here. It's down to P9. There's 2 cars behind us.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
An opportunity for a point or two is here. But these hard tyres aren't great.
Condition is still looking good.
Jeff's saying they're still looking good, but I've got some super quick guys behind me. A Mercedes, a Renault, a Ferrari, a Racing Point. We're moving the humble Minardi. Hanging on to P9 here. I'm low on fuel and low on ERS as well, and I'm using all of the ERS I can save in a lap
Leading our teammate
down that main straight.
0 seconds.
We're now into that 32 or 36, 5 to go. They're going to pass in a blink of an eye here. We're doing alright. We're doing alright. To pick up a P9, yes, it's slightly gifted to us because of the safety car. It works perfectly in our favour. It's still not easy to get into the points, considering where our car is at the moment. When all I've got to do is just be smooth. That's it, just be smooth. Lap 34. Just looking good.
13.6 seconds.
Got Vettel and Hamilton behind me. Oh, I've got a nudge. I think Vettel might have picked up a bit of damage there. I don't know.
Okay, gap ahead is 18.0 seconds.
To be honest with you, I don't really care. We are so close now. So close to our first points of the season. I think Vettel might have a little bit of damage. Oh, God, my God. Dancing over these bumps. I've loved this race. I like this circuit. This is such a cool circuit. It really, really is. It's so fast. It's so flowing. Bump the ERS into overtake mode just to give us a bit of breathing space. We're 1.7 ahead of Vettel. He did have damage. He's in the pits at the end of the penultimate lap.
Gap to teammate behind is 13.1 seconds.
We're 13.1 seconds ahead of Giotto, but we're half a second, second and a half ahead of Ocon, who's now managed to get up into 10th place. All we've got to do is just survive now. Oh, get off them curbs. We've got enough fuel to get into rich mix. One a little bit wide there, but we can bump a little bit of ERS just to protect us, down into heavy braking zone here. Short shift up into 4th, get on the power early. We won't run out of fuel. We'll be close, but we won't do it. Albon has won his first race, but we are going to come out of the banked final corner here, punching the ERS, and it's our first points. It's P9 at Zandvoort. Get in there. Oh my god, them last 5 or 6 laps were so tense. I was pushing as hard as I could on those hard tyres, which were starting to give up a little bit, but we managed to hold them off, and we picked up a P9. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's fortuitous because, you know, we pitted onto the hard tyres underneath the safety car. A lot of the other cars didn't, or they did, but they went on for other tyres. Like softs or mediums, mainly softs to be honest with you, and we gained a hell of a load of positions. But you know, you look at Australia, the first race where everyone pitted onto the hard tyres during the safety car, which completely screwed our strategy. Yes, luckily we sort of got it back a bit with the second safety car, but here, you know, when the safety car appears, it can appear at any time, a virtual safety car as well, and you've got to take your chances, and that's exactly what we did, and we just held on there for P9. But Albon takes his first career win. Verstappen comes from 6th into 2nd with the fastest lap as well, so it's a Red Bull 1-2. Sainz gets his 2nd career podium because he had one in 2019 in real life. Giovinazzi from 3rd in the grid holds on to P4, so he'll be delighted with that. Same for Kvyat in 5th, Norris in 6th, good day for McLaren, Leclerc in 7th, Bottas 8th. We pick up our first 2 points in 9th, just holding off Ocon in 10th. Hamilton, Raikkonen, Perez and Stroll were catching up to the back of that as well. And then it's Russell in 15th, Magnussen, Grosjean, Gasly, Giotto 19th, Vettel pitted late on to fix wing damage, and he's classified in 20th. Latifi and Ricciardo was the only retirement, but his retirement brought out the safety car and enabled us to get up inside the points. So we'll have a look at the standings then, see what's changed after 4 of 16 races. Leclerc holds a championship lead. If I can somehow get it all sorted out. Yeah, there we go. I'm having a bit of a retard moment with the controls. So Leclerc leads the championship, 1 point ahead of Vettel. Albon now up into 3rd place. Verstappen up into 4th. Hamilton and Bottas down into 5th and 6th. You wouldn't expect that from Mercedes. Sainz with his podium remains in 7th, but he's got a good gap to the cars behind. He's actually very close to Bottas and Hamilton. Ocon in the Renault in 8th, Norris 9th, Giovinazzi shoots all the way up to 10th, as does Kvyat into 11th, and we go all the way into 15th place ahead of Stroll and Kalbach, and many drivers yet to score their first points. So the constructors then, Ferrari hold on to their lead, 123 points, 23-1 ahead of Red Bull, who now take over 2nd place ahead of Mercedes. McLaren in 4th, consolidating their position in 4th. Renault in 5th, Alfa Romeo in 6th, and AlphaTauri in 7th with good results. Haas and Racing Point down to 8th and 9th. We pick up our first points, remain in 10th place, but at least we're ahead of Williams. So the rivalry breakdown then, we both finished the race. I finished ahead of Russell, but he scored the fastest lap. So it remains even after that weekend, and we're still 4 points behind. But I claim we're number 8%, 12% for Giotto, 20% combined for the team, which puts us comfortably almost halfway into level 7. I'm almost level 5 now. So Cash there, Atlantic and Zigzag as well as a team complete our objectives. We've done that. Minus $20,000 in the damage that we picked up there in qualifying, but we picked up 5.65. Is that total 5.65 million? I'll have to have a look once we get off this screen. So the Spanish Grand Prix is just around the corner. 5.65 is our total balance. Maybe we can do some activity. Simulator training for Giotto gets experience up a little bit. Driver promotion filming improves the driver acclaim by 100. Durability team building costs us $5,000. $5,000 I should say, and it improves the durability morale a little bit. And the sponsor event will improve the team acclaim by 100, but cost 5,000. We might as well get a little bit of work done for Giotto. As for our facilities, well, we've got over 5.5 million now, so we might as well look to try and improve something if we can. The R&D, we've got a powertrain and a durability in development. Should be here by the 11th of May, which will be after Spain. So can we do anything else in that time? Development department capacity reached. You could probably do an aerodynamic department. We've got the powertrain in the go at the moment. A 29% failure chance for the chassis department, but I think it's probably about time really that we look at the facilities. What's the personnel like? 2 million, 1.5 and 1. That's what's that? 4.5 million to get Giotto on the way with a spec 1. Your second driver's pace stat will be improved. Your second driver's racecraft and awareness stat will be improved. Your second driver's experience stat will be improved. But what I want to look at more than anything else, nothing has changed here as you can expect, is if I could... Oh, how do I do it? Yeah, it's the driver perks. Yep.
They stay with you, so they'll make you a more attractive prospect in future negotiations.
Yep, they'll stay with me, so I can, I think, move away from the team. So driver claim will be boosted by 10%, engine wear will be reduced by 10%, unlock additional interview answers level 1, and research points income will be boosted by 10%. I think we'll get all of these done. Number 1. Until... so we can't improve that until we get to our personal acclaim of level 8, so that's fine. So we'll do all this until level 8, until level 8, until level 8. That's fine, that's okay. So we've increased our perks a little bit, which is quite nice. And let's have a look at what else we can do. The driver market, the finances, everything is looking okay. R&D or facilities, I think we should probably maybe focus on personnel a little bit, or maybe the durability actually. Improve build time of all upgrades by 20%, improve failure chance reduction by 10, improve resource points generation by 60. I'm tempted, I mean marketing is going to be quite expensive, durability is quite expensive as well, but I'm thinking about the personnel department there to try and get Giotto a little bit better if we can. 2 million. Accidentally unplugged my microphone there, so apologies for that. So yeah, 2 million, 1.5 and 1 million is 4.5 million, which will pretty much eat up all of our budget. I don't think it's too bad at this point to get the personnel department up and completely to spec 1. Marketing is going to cost us 7 million. Yeah, we'll get the person. No, I'm going to leave it. 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 I'm not going to make a rash decision right now. But our overall perks for ourselves have now increased, which is quite nice. So we'll advance time. Get the simulator training done, and now we can go to Spain. So if we look at how do I find out about our driver? So if we look at the driver market and then scroll down to try and find Luca Giotto, there he is. So his experience has gone up by another 1. He's still a level 62 rated driver. Latifi is level 7. And then we've got all these other drivers down here as well. Now, to be honest with you, I will say now, we've done 4 races. There's 12 to go at the quarter-way point of the season. I will probably get rid of Giotto at the end of the season and look to sign someone a bit better from F2, or maybe even a current F1 driver. So I don't know really about improving Giotto's stats too much. Nick De Vries is not really that far behind when it comes to his stats. He is a level 6, but you look there, his rating is 67 against Luca Giotto 62. His experience is the same. His racecraft is 3 better. His awareness is 21 better, and his pace is exactly the same. So I'm going to watch Nick De Vries. I'm not too sure exactly what watching does, but you can see whether Nick De Vries is better. than Luca Giotto. So he's certainly one to watch going forward. But there we go then. So we've got the race weekend and entire allocation coming up. But we'll end the episode here after Zandvoort before we go to round 5 at the Circuit de Barcelona in Catalonia in Spain. And overall, very, very good with the episode. I feel like I got better and better as the practice sessions went on around Zandvoort. It's quite a fun circuit to drive, to be honest with you. And I look forward to coming back here again in future seasons. Qualifying, yep. We got slightly boosted by the fact that we decided to gamble on the soft tyres at the end. And half the field did, half the field didn't. Started in P14. And then again, we got exceptionally lucky with the safety car when it decided to come out, put on the hard tyres, bumped up into P9 and managed with some robust defensive driving and using the fuel mix and the ERS to our advantages, where we held on to P9 for ours and the team's first points of the season. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you for the next one very soon.